Hey, Trailblazers, we've got a special treat for you today. We've got an interview with one of Canberra's finest, Julia Murphy. She did the 30 Ks in the Trailblazer in a skirt and had a cracker of a time. She's a very interesting young lady. You're going to love this interview. I laughed myself out loud the entire way, and I'm sure you will too. Sit back, listen, and enjoy. Alrighty, well, here we are back with our Tamworth Trailblazer series. And tonight we are blessed with the great Julia Murphy, who's graced us with her presence. And we've got Abby Lewis as well, my co-organizer of the Trailblazer. And we're catching up with Julia and see what makes this crazy trail runner tick. Julia, thanks for coming along and nice to have you on board.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, we met last year. Was it last year? 2025?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, and you came and did our 30K race. How did you find that?
Only with the help of the course markings.
I'm
But no,
glad you didn't get
seriously.
lost.
It was like I'd done trail races before, but it was like absolutely nothing else I'd ever done. Um, and it was by a long shot the most fun I had had in a race up until that point, because oh my goodness, it is the best course.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's great to hear.
Yeah, like you're sort of lost in the bush simulator, except the course is extremely well marked, so you're not actually lost in the bush. And like you never know what the trail is going to throw at you next, because I'm not local, obviously, so I had no idea what was coming my way. And God, those trails are good. You got some good trails. And then like there's one singular segment of what I would describe as like obvious runnable fire road, and it's the hill. That's it. That's the hill. And it's just absolutely brilliant. I felt like 2 laps was kind of like the right amount for me. More than that, and I'd probably get too tired. Less than that, and I wouldn't have time to properly experience it. Love the multi-lap format. So yeah, honestly, probably my favorite race of last year, honestly. And I did a lot of races last year.
Wow. Well, I did not expect that response because, you know, there's a reason why we say Tamworth Trailblazer where fun goes to die. Because, I mean, it's a very challenging course, right? Quite
Here's that.
technical in parts. So, yeah, that's, I'm a little bit embarrassed, actually. Thank you for that positive feedback. But tell me about some of the other races that you did last year. Particularly, I guess, in the lead up to Trailblazer. I'm assuming Trailblazer probably wasn't like your main race for 2025. Was there a main race that you were aiming for in 2025?
Yeah, so 2025 was a really fun year for me. The Trailblazer was actually in the middle of what I called my 6 weeks of silliness, where every 2 weeks for 6 weeks I back up with another stupid race. So it started with a half marathon on the 17th of March, which was also my birthday, incidentally. I turned 21, ran 21 kilometers, worked out for me. And then 2 weeks later, I had the Trailblazer, and then another 2 weeks later, I had the Canberra Marathon. And that was my first marathon. So that was really fun. And I liked marathons so much that I did another 4 in the space of 2025. I like me a good race.
Wow. I mean, I thought I was a bit nuts running the race I did for my 50th, but that's a pretty cool 21st kind of self-celebration. I do like that. It's cool. What were the other marathons you ran in the rest of the year? I mean, that's a lot of marathons in a year for anybody.
Yeah, so depending on whether or not you would say that ultras count, we'll go ahead and count ultras. Um, so the Canberra Marathon was my first, and then I did the Great Ocean Road 60-kilometer ultra marathon, and then I did the Guzzler up in Brisbane, and then I did the Sydney Marathon, and then I did a local relay race of which my legs were 50 kilometers. Um, and then I finished the year with the Melbourne Marathon, but we don't talk about the Melbourne Marathon.
Okay, that's cool. What happens happens. So where's local for you? You said one of them was like a local relay. Where is that?
Oh yeah, so I'm Canberra and I'm located in Canberra, and yeah, here in Canberra we've got the Sri Chinmoy Trail 100, which is a 100-kilometer race, which is split into four legs, and you can go on a team of up to four people, or you can just be a team of one person and do the whole thing. I'm not quite up to running 100 kilometers yet, but I grabbed a friend and we did 50 k's each, so that was a good day out.
Oh, fantastic. That's really cool. I, that's just a lot of races. I'm still sitting there a bit stunned, to be honest.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's me.
right. And the Sri Chimnoy, is that include Mount Stromlo in there? Is that in Canberra? Is that part of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've also got the Stromlo Running Festival, which is a very popular local trail event here.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really good sort of introductory level kind of a trail run. Um,
Yep.
like it's really good first, like baby's first trail run. I shouldn't be mean to it, but like it is a glorified road run. It's a road run with a lot of dust. And yeah, the Trail 100 takes in some shared trails with that one. It kind of goes just over most of the mountains in Canberra because you start by doing like you start at the lake, so there's a tiny bit of road running, and then you do Red Hill, and then you move on to like Farrer Ridge, and then you do like Mount Taylor, and then you start moving upwards again from Taylor to like Arrowang, Coolum, um, and then McCoyd's, and then Stromlo, and then you go through Coombs, and then you do the Arboretum and Black Mountain. Black Mountain takes a while. And then from Black Mountain, you go along this really long, soul-sucking stretch of bike path, and then you get to do it Mount Majura, Mount Ainslie. Then you descend Mount Ainslie, come back to the lake. You've completed 100 kilometers. Go you.
Abby, I like the idea of soul sucking. We should put that into our website or title somewhere. That's definitely a phrase we need to adopt, I think.
The soul sucking does fit our vibe. That is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. But that's why we don't post too many finish line photos. We sort of let our finishers kind of freshen up before we give them their trophies, then we take their photograph because the finish line photos we could possibly get arrested for how some people look when they come over the line.
Finish line photo from the Tamworth Trailblazer is one of my favorite in my camera roll. I'm covered in mud, blood, and God knows what else. It's brilliant.
You did have us a bit concerned at the finish line. Our first aiders were looking at you pretty closely, I got to tell you. So have you always been a Canberra local or have you sort of imported there as life takes a hold?
Yep, no, I was born here. I live here still with my parents, and very much a Canberra local, yeah.
And have you always been a runner or is this something you've come to a little bit later on?
Yeah, look, um, I'm fairly new to running, all things considered. Like, I'm now in my third year of being a runner.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. You did Trailblazer after only a couple of years of running and
yeah,
four marathons. Oh my, you're crazy.
thank you, thank you. That's how I like
That's
to be described.
gold. So what other sports were you into before running? Oh, please don't tell me you just went from zero to running. You
I
did you
do.
do something else beforehand?
No, I was a couch potato. Played a lot of
You,
video games.
you are kidding me, surely.
I am not.
Abby, there's hope for some of us yet.
There is hope for both of us yet. I mean, you have the crazy running vibes, but there's hope for me maybe.
Julia, we'll get you to sort of talk to Abby afterwards. Maybe you guys can work out some kind of a training program. So okay, then I have to ask you, Julia, what motivated you go from couch potato to a very keen runner, a distance runner? What happened?
Look, to be completely honest with you, man, my mental health was not in a great place. The running kind of started as more of a way for me to, like, not exactly healthfully lose weight.
Yep,
Like I was already underweight and I wanted to get more underweight.
yep.
But then that was honestly the dumbest mistake that my brain ever made because in its attempt to starve me to death, it ended up just discovering a hobby that I love and that is good for my mental health and that encourages me to, you know, eat more and want to
Yep.
become strong and want to gain muscle. So, completely self-defeating strategy from my brain there. That's my moderately sad origin story.
Maybe there was a back part of your lizard brain that actually worked out that this was actually a good strategy, and it kind of lured you into it without you realizing.
Sometimes I wonder if that might have been the case.
That's awesome. And it's interesting, a lot of the runners that I both meet at Trailblazer and also that I treat in my practice, um, a lot of people use running as a mental health, tool for sure. It's definitely a strong theme that seems to run through a lot of people that we talk to, both, elite, amateur, recreational. It's a very strong theme that runs all the way through for sure. In fact, I was treating a retired GP this morning who said, I don't care what you tell me to do, but don't tell me I've got to stop running because of the injury that he presented with. So we managed to work out a solution without him stopping running, which he was very happy about. So you're definitely not alone, that's for sure. So was Trailblazer your first ultra?
Um, well, I did 30 kilometers, which is unfortunately not an ultra.
Actually, you're
Trailblazer
right,
was,
it's not. So
it's
I,
not, that's
I
true.
take the question back. If you were to do an ultra, what have you got one in your sights, I guess is the question then.
Yes, my next ultra is okay, so here's the thing. My next ultra is possibly cancelled. If it's not cancelled, then my next ultra after that I'm definitely doing is I think it's called the Bayside Runnings Festival in Sydney. And that's kind of the opposite of the Trailblazer. It's nice and flat. And it's 3 laps of a half marathon course. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I don't know why I keep running laps of courses, but I don't know. The format seems to work for me. And because it's so flat, I'm hoping to score a 50-kilometer PR because I came like this close to doing a sub 4 hour 50K at the Great Ocean Road last year, and I missed it by a singular minute because I needed to use the toilet halfway through. So I'm hoping to correct that this year.
All right, so give us a bit of a window into what would be a typical training week with you. What does your training look like? I mean, and everybody varies a little bit, but just give us a bit of a hint of what it looks like.
Okay, yes, so as may have been hinted at previously, I'm a bit of a crazy person, mad keen runner. So I do like ideally about 150, 160 kilometers a week. In off periods, I do a little bit less than that. Like currently, I'm hovering around like 120, 130, just because you got to build from something, right?
Sure.
Um,
It would be hard to sustain that kind of max Ks all the time. I mean, you've got to take into account races and other things, right?
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I like me some high mileage. I have a dream of someday doing a 200-kilometer training week. I haven't gotten that high yet, but I have a dream of doing it. And I do that mostly by running several times a day and not owning a car. Because Canberra is a really super friendly city to not own a car in, except you have to be very, very fit because the public transport here is terrible. And I like to joke that I can run to university faster than the bus gets me there, except that's not a joke anymore. I legitimately get to university faster than the bus can get me there. Because we're currently installing a tram. The tram might be great when it's finished, but the tram's never going to be finished. So in the forever between now and the tram being finished, um, the main bridge into the city is closed, and kind of the only way to get there anymore is just to go on foot. So I just run everywhere. But I also
Wow.
have a wonderful coach. She's great, Cherie from Elevate, and yeah, she sets me a training plan where she plans my workouts and tells me, "Hey, try not running 160 kilometers per week this week. Maybe bring it down a couple of kilometers this week." Kind of thing.
How successful is she in that mission?
Look, I have disobeyed the instruction a couple of times, and I've learned my stupid lesson every time that I have disobeyed the instruction. So, in more recent months, I have been significantly more obedient and significantly less injured. So, that's great.
Maybe the person you're paying to give you your programs actually knows what they're talking about. I mean, I'm just
It's
putting it out
quite
there.
possible. Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
paying somebody to tell you to do something, maybe you should just do the thing.
So what are you studying and at which facility?
Oh yeah, so I'm at the Australian National University. Um, we actually have a really strong running culture at that university because of an event called Inward Bound, where it's kind of like hazing. You get blindfolded, dropped, you get put on a bus. The bus drives to an unknown known location. They tell you where to go, but not where you are. And the first person, well, the first team, you run it in teams to get to the location wins. So that's a weird little thing that we like to do over at ANU. But what I'm studying is English literature.
Right. Right, because those two are so linked. I mean, I know for me, English was a bit of a minefield, and trying to find my way through Shakespeare was a bit tricky. It sounds like your hazing run is a bit of a physical representation of possibly studying certain parts of English literature, one might think.
Yeah, quite possibly. Look, like if I had to choose between comprehending whatever is going on in Finnegan's Wake or comprehending where I am in this random location in the bush where I'm not allowed a GPS, probably tasks of equal difficulty.
I know which one I'd prefer, and it wouldn't be Finnegan's, just saying that. So you mentioned a bit before that when you don't listen to your coach, bad things happen. In terms of injuries, what kind of injuries, have you had so far in this running journey of yours?
Okay, look, I have to say I have been pretty lucky. Like I'm mostly uninjured. I get through most of my stuff uninjured. But yeah, I've had probably like three separate occasions on which I've sustained an injury. All three of those have been like fairly minor tendinopathy stuff, though like I haven't had serious stuff that took me out for weeks and weeks. So I'm very lucky in that regard.
Cool. And when you say tendinopathies, we're talking Achilles, patella, hamstring.
Uh, I have had hip and um glute tendinopathy and um oh yeah, one time in 2024 I had a sacroiliac joint injury. Those are the three injuries that I've had.
Yeah, those ones can bite a fair bit. Yeah. All right. So, as part of your training, is there any kind of strength and conditioning or stability work that you do sort of outside of run or some sort of cross training that you do to sort of try to protect from or prevent some of these things?
Yeah, definitely. That's how I think I managed to do high mileage with like minimal to little injury. Um, Most of the time, I try to do strength training 3 times a week for a total of about 2 hours during the week. And it's like one specific stuff most of the time that is set for me by my coach, and that's just really, really good. I do a lot of plyometrics, and that's kind of like that's why I say I don't get stress injuries. I think it's because I do a ton of plyometrics.
And look, that's pretty specific for the sport you're doing as well, right? So that's nice to see. Is the
Definitely.
plyometrics you do a lot of it's two-legged, or is there some single-legged plyos in there as well?
Oh yeah, definitely both. Do tons of single-legged plyo because like sometimes you learn that you have niggles that you can only discover by hopping on one leg. And if you can't hop on it, you absolutely cannot run on that thing.
Yeah. And look, we should actually just grab that.
I was gonna
That's
say, let's
advice.
sniff that.
Yeah, we're going to snip that. That's advice for every runner. If you can't
I'm
hop on it, you can't run on it.
gonna
We
roll
might
that
put
to
that on
all.
a shirt for you, Julia. Yeah, Julia, I should tell you, Abby and I are both physios, and that's something that we just tell everybody. So you've absolutely nailed it. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, is there one particular exercise that you find pops up in your program quite a bit? You know, that you sort of go, yeah, that's one of the key ones that's kind of there most of the time.
Um, Look, my coach does sort of like shake it up quite a lot. Suddenly you see like recurring themes of like variations on squats, lunges, glute bridges. I do have two favorite moves. Um, One of
Nice.
them I call the crucifixion, which is like you hit a glute bridge and you have sliders under each of your feet, and then you have a dumbbell in each of your hands, and you fly the dumbbells out to the side at the same time as sliding your feet out on the sliders, and then you pull everything in. That hurts so bad, but like um, I love it, and because you hit a kind of a T pose on the floor at the apex of it, I call it the crucifixion. Uh, and
Probably
then
feels like after enough reps, would be feel like a bit like a crucifixion. Nah, that's nasty. I'm just writing that one down. That's brilliant. Yeah. And
recommended to anybody. Love that one.
yeah. And what's your
And
other one?
yeah, my other one is very simply just the good old skater, hop on side to side. I wear a lot of skirts. I like to wear skirts. I like to wear fluffy skirts, and then they swish up to the side when I'm doing my skaters, and that makes me feel happy.
You ever wear fluffy skirts when you run?
Yes, yeah, I wore a fluffy skirt to the
I
Trailblazer.
was gonna say I was pretty
Um,
sure you had a skirt on for Trailblazer. Yeah.
yeah, it was absolutely soaked in
Yep.
mud and sweat by the time I finished, but I didn't regret my skirt. I love my skirt. I wear my skirt to all of my events.
Do you have a variety of skirts?
Oh yeah, I have so many skirts, and the collection keeps growing.
Do they have pockets in them? Like, are they like active skirts?
Oh yeah, look, all of them have shorts attached. There's only two that I earn that don't have pockets. I'm usually pretty fussy about the pockets. Um, just like the two that I own that don't have pockets, I love the design of them so much that I was willing to forgive the non-pocket thing. But for the most part, I'm a very serious pocket person.
Yeah, yeah. I love my pockets too. What are you carrying in your pockets on a run? Now, there's a question we want to know.
Um, Phone, very important. Need to be able to call emergency services.
Yep.
Um, Gels if the run is very long. What? No, actually, that's a lie. I don't take gels. I take dried bananas. They look terrible. Whole dried bananas. It looks like I've cleaned up after a dog. I keep them in a plastic bag and it looks like I've cleaned up after a dog. Can't recommend them enough. Because it's all the goodness of banana, all the potassium of banana, carbs, easily digestible.
Now,
Um,
hang on a second. Sorry to interrupt you, but I've only ever seen dried banana like when it's been sliced up into like little circular, chip type looking things. You're talking about a proper big ass banana.
yep, whole and dried. They
And
they shrink down a bit.
you do that yourself? Because I've never seen one in a store. Or can you buy these things?
Oh yeah, no, I do buy them. I think it would probably be cheaper if I did go out and get a dehydrator in the long run. But no, you can buy them in stores. They're sometimes called banana longs. You can Google banana longs, and yeah, they really do look awful. They look terrible.
I've just Googled them. Would recommend you have a Google. They do look terrible, don't they? But I'm sure they are very effective. Like you said, very quick carbs.
Gold. Oh, I'm learning so much tonight. Oh, that's brilliant, Julia. I love it. Okay, so speaking about nutrition, I guess that kind of gives us a bit of a window. Besides your dried dog turd bananas, what else do you normally throw down your throat when it comes to energy and fuel?
Yeah, like it depends on the length and intensity of the run. Like if I'm doing an ultra and I know that I'm burning mostly fats and I don't need to worry about super fast carbs, then look, I'm not that fussy. I'll chuck in pretty much whatever, pikelets, muesli bars, dried fruits of any nature, peanut butter sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
For marathons, I tend to just like switch my brain off and just go fast. So whatever takes the least brain power to consume is good. At that point, I tend to just mix carbohydrates into sports drink and just drink it as a liquid because that's the easiest to get down without having to turn my brain on. Or just like, you know, good old gels.
Yeah. Any particular brand?
Yes, actually, I want to thank the Tamworth Trailblazer for getting me hooked on the pure sports nutrition because that's been the only thing that I take at all ever since I tried it at the Trailblazer. So, interesting impacts that this race has had on my life.
Nice. Yeah, I like the flavors and they're not too, it doesn't feel like you're trying to drink down syrup, you know?
Yeah, no, it just tastes like fruit, which is excellent.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so going through your gear, we've got the skirt. we've got your pockets full of a variety of interesting nutritional items and your phone. What will we find on your feet?
Oh, that is a great question. I actually work in a shoe shop, so I'm never going to run out of shoes. I have so many shoes.
I am, Abby, I'm so jealous right now. The amount of money I could save if I worked in a shoe shop. You're killing me.
I can imagine. Yes, and I can imagine, Julia, you have a number of different pairs of shoes. Do you have a favorite, and what's your routine for swapping them around?
Oh yeah, look, it's vibes. I just think like, what runs am I doing today, and how do I want those runs to feel? And it's like, yeah, okay, I think that shoe matches the vibe of this run. Um, for trail runners, I'm a bit more picky because I am pretty clumsy. I'm pretty accident prone, and I've learned that I can somewhat minimize my the amount that I stack by changing up my shoe wear a bit. So I prefer shoes that are a bit closer to the ground, a bit less stacked, a bit less cushioned, and have a lower drop. So like Ultras and Topos are both really good for me. Um, I own this pair of Nike Pegasus Trail, and they're lovely, lovely shoes, but I have fallen over on about 40% of the runs that I've been in that I've been on wearing these shoes, and it's because the stack sorry, it's because the drop is like nearly a centimeter, which is very high for a trail shoe. So yeah, I do get a bit fussy about that when it comes to shoes.
Yeah. And like, say with Sydney Marathon, what did you pick to run in Sydney Marathon and like a road marathon like that?
Yes, that's the thing about me. I'm the only person alive who likes the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3. Hang on, I've actually I've got it on my desk here. We actually got rid of it at work because we realized that we'd sold 4 units and three of them were me. It looks like this.
Yep.
Like it's a very weird shoe. It doesn't have a heel. I'm the only
Yeah.
person alive whose gait cycle it actually suits.
And what makes you like that shoe?
Um, look, it's just the feeling of getting the right carbon-plated shoe that like properly suits your gait cycle. It strokes for folks. There's a good shoe out there for everybody. And that's the one that works for me. I don't know why, but it just feels like I'm a gazelle on the moon. I like that it doesn't have a heel. It propels me forward. I'm not allowed to stop, slow, or walk in those shoes. You just move forward. The shoes are forcing you. And I kind of like that.
I love it. I love it. So what kind of speed were you running in those shoes?
I did 3 hours and 3 minutes at Sydney Marathon.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so like I'm not the fastest person alive, but I was pretty happy with that.
That's a great time. It's just looking at that shoe, I've come across a couple of people that have tried running in that shoe, but they were super slow people, and it just, yeah, it was vomit on a stick for them. So yeah, you if you were sort of a 4 hour marathoner or slower, I think that would not be the shoe that would suit that running gait and style for sure.
Yeah, like you have to be pretty aggressive. I'm almost on the slow end of what that shoe permits. Like
Yeah,
you probably want to be a little bit faster than I am to really get the most out of it. But I like it.
you can probably say that about most carbon plated shoes, to be honest.
That's true. At the end of the day, if you're not Eliud Kipchoge, then like, what's the point of your shoes? But we wear them anyway because they're fun.
Look, some of us need it, so sometimes we can have all the show and no go, and that's kind of where my jam is. Uh, couple of things. What would be your best moment in a race ever?
Um, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Well, certainly memorable.
my most memorable moment in the race. Oh, okay. It's so hard. Why is nothing
Got
coming
it,
to
got her abs.
I think I'm gonna have to skip this question because I can't think of anything.
That's right. Okay, I'll change it. What's your best finish line experience you've had?
Oh, okay. Um, Probably at the Canberra Marathon because, like, it was my debut marathon. I'd never done a marathon before, going in with no expectations. I thought I'd run a 3:15 pacer because I was pretty confident that I'd be able to like hit and hold that pace. Um, that guy was taking, may I swear, he was taking the piss. I don't know what was going on in his head, but it certainly wasn't the pace that we were meant to be running, because he got us all to do a 3 hour and 5 minute marathon.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? He actually dropped me at the end. I continued holding the 4:20 pace, and he went off and finished about a minute before I did. So I don't know what was going on there, but I thought that I had been dropped by my pace group, which was not a good feeling to have. But then I got to the finish chute. I checked my watch and I was realized that I was still 10 minutes ahead of goal time, and that was a good feeling.
Well, there you go. There's a great memorable moment. Maybe he had the role that he was supposed to play a little bit confused. Maybe he confused getting a PR versus a actually doing the proper time he was asked to do.
Yeah, look, I got nothing, but that's one of my favorite marathon stories is the piss take 3:15 pacer.
Now, has there ever been a race where you've forgotten something at the start line and just had to power on, or you've had to rush back and get it?
Yeah, actually, once again, Canberra Marathon. The good old starting stampede of any given marathon. I had a pack of gels that I was intending to eat, in the front of my vest that I was wearing. We get 200 meters into the race, and the straw of my hydration pack that I have on my back knocks that packet out of my vest. And
Oh
now
no.
I have none of my own carbohydrates for the rest of the race. I have to vomit from my pace group.
And you still did a cracking time.
Yeah, and I still did a 3:05, so I'm happy with that.
That is brilliant. Now, does is there any history of running in your family? Are your parents runners, grandparents? Like, I mean, is this you've come from the couch to this running, but is it in your genes, I guess, is what we're asking?
Very much so, yes. My parents are both runners. My dad was into it a long time before my mum was. She got into it about the same time as I did. Um, but yeah, my dad's been a runner more or less all his life, on and off. Um, I'm not sure exactly how he felt when I got into it 2 years ago and was speeding him at parkrun within 6 months, but uh, I have to assume that he was equal parts proud and hurt. And yeah, beyond that, I believe that my grandfather was also a runner, and I've definitely got a great uncle who did the New York Marathon back in the day. So that's a really cool story that he likes to tell. So yeah, quite a lot of running genes in my family.
Okay, okay. Now we're starting to get a bit of a picture of yeah, what's happening back there. That's gold. Now the shoe shop you work in, is it like a sports shoe shop or is it like, general shoes?
Yeah, it's independent local business called the Runners Shop, established
Oh
in
yeah.
1990. And yeah, we sell mostly shoes, but also various running gear like you know gels, sportswear, um, hydration packs, etc., etc. Most of your running needs can be met in the shop where I work.
I have actually shopped there, but it was many, many years ago. But yes, a friend of mine, Danny Green, put me onto them years ago. He lives in Canberra now, and yeah, no, great little shop actually. So we'll give them a shout out. Absolutely. Okay, so bringing it back around to Trailblazer, what made that race, unique compared to other stuff you'd done?
Um, yeah, look, it's definitely by a long shot the most challenging trail race that I have possibly ever done. Like I did the Guzzler a couple of months later, and the Guzzler is a pretty decently challenging course, but it does have easier bits, whereas the Trailblazer is just like nonstop hard the whole way, or at least nonstop challenging terrain the whole way. Because like you can slow down and enjoy the scenery. That's fine, but yeah, the course is just absolutely brilliant. I love all the single trail. I lost count of how many times I slipped and fell, but it was okay because I was wearing knee pads.
And your skirt told the story when you got back. We could see how many times you'd slip by how much mud was on there. So if you were going to give a friend some advice who was going to go do Trailblazer, what would be some of the tips that you would give them to prepare them or help them deal with the race better?
Pace yourself would be one big thing. Like a lot of people started to, flag, and we had to awkwardly pass them over the single trail on the second lap. Um, just remember there is a second lap. You got to do that hill again. Um, and also just like enjoy it. It is so much fun. There's an aid station like every 3K, so you'll be okay. Um, get into the sports drink. It tastes great. And um, yeah, watch your step.
I'd definitely watch your step. Now, some people use our Trailblazer as a preparation for other trail races or other, challenges. Um, was you did the guzzler afterwards? Was it good prep for the guzzler, do you think, or do you think it would be good prep for something else?
Oh yeah, it was absolutely brilliant prep for the Guzzler. No way would I have coped with the Guzzler had I not done the Trailblazer. Because like all the trails in Canberra, like we got good trails here, don't get me wrong, but they're all pretty smooth. They're mostly fire road. Like I said, kind of dusty, glorified road runs for the most part. Whereas the Trailblazer does have actual single track and actual rocks and stuff. Um, and you get to the Guzzler. It seems like it's going to be glorified road race, dusty road kind of thing for the first couple of K, but then you get to the reservoirs and they do actually throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at you. So I was really glad that I already had like a genuinely challenging trail race under my belt by the time I got to the start line at that one, because yeah, that was really, really, really good prep.
Yeah, no, the guzzler definitely sucks you in. You sort of go, oh, this isn't too bad, and then yeah, a few Ks down the road, no, 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 we're just going to hurt you even more. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so long term, where's this running going to take you? Where do you have you got any sort of long term, bucket list races that you'd like to do? Would you like to do New York Marathon like your great uncle, or is there
Oh
any
yeah,
other
look,
races on your bucket list?
my bucket list is a mile long. Um, if my race that So if my next ultra that I mentioned might be cancelled does not get cancelled, then I will be attempting to set an age category Australian record for the 6 hour at that event. Um, if it does get cancelled, then there's still a very long bucket list ahead of me. I would like to do some more world major marathons in my life. I don't know about the 6 star thing. That kind of seems like an expensive goal to have. But yeah,
Yeah.
New York is definitely like a goal of mine. Um, Perhaps once they like change the leadership over there, because I don't really want to pay a visit to Trump land, but I do want to like show that great uncle of mine a New York Marathon finisher's medal, whilst he's still alive, and show him, look what I did, look what I can do too. Um,
Join
and
the
then
club.
yeah, and the other event that I don't want to die without doing, is the Spartathlon. I desperately want to do the Spartathlon because I'm a little bit of an ancient history buff, and the constant slander against Pheidippides hurts my soul every time.
Is that race?
Oh, Spartathlon is basically like what Pheidippides actually ran according to Herodotus's histories, which is from the historical site of Athens to the historical site of Sparta. It is about, oh, what is it, 4 or 5 times the length of a marathon. And he did not die. He did not die. He did not die by doing that. Justice for Pheidippides.
You want to say that one more time?
He did not die.
He did not die. Right. Okay. Just for the record, folks, he did not die, and he ran what sounds like 160 to 200 kilometers.
246.
How
Thank
much?
you.
246 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna have to do some research. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Like if I had run 246 kilometers and I had not died from doing it, and then my legacy was that I had run a fraction of the length and died from doing it, I would be so pissed. So I want justice for my deputies.
Fair call, fair call. And look, if you did that, it'd be pretty bit of a cinch to go do, say, Coast to Kosciuszko.
Oh yeah, that's something that I would really like to do. Um, like I have friends who've done it. Like there's a fairly large Canberra contingent, and I'm friends with most of them, and they seem to like it really seems to be a like life-changing kind of experience for them. So I'm pretty curious about that race as well. Yeah.
That's because a lot of them end up in intensive care. That's how it's life changing. You know, they meet lots of new people like paramedics and cardiologists. Okay, so you showed us your Mizunos, and I just want to sort of settle on the shoes that are in your rotation. You talk about the Ultras, you like, the zero drop on those. The Nike Pegasus Trail sounds like it's not really your friend. Um, are there any other shoes that you tend to train in that, you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of okay, I have a very complicated emotional relationship with actually the Mizuno Neo Zen. The original version that came out in I think it was 2024. Yeah, it's the very tail end of 2024. That version, I loved it so much. It felt like running on a trampoline, and I adored it. But because the upper is basically a sock, it really hurt my ankles. So at some point, I had to say, I love you, but you're hurting me, and I can't continue this relationship. So for most of 2025, I was doing my road running training in the ASICS Blast series, Dynablast, Nervablast, Superblast. I didn't get any Mega Blasts because we didn't receive any women's sizes at my workplace, and I'm still bitter about it. But the Sonic Blast is very, very good shoe. But then at the start of this year,
Are you suggesting ASICS might be a slightly sexist distributor, perhaps?
um, no, I don't think I'm going to accuse any individual or corporation of sexism. I think it's just an unfortunate um, happenstance that my WAC did not receive a delivery of women's sizes in the Mega
That's
Blast.
probably a
I
fair
was
way to
just,
say. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so sorry, you've gone through the Blast series.
yep. But then, yeah, at the start of this year, um, Mizuno came out with the Neo Zen 2, and it was kind of like having your toxic ex come back and say, "No, take me back, I've changed." And yeah, you know what? They had changed. They had fixed the upper. It's a lot more comfortable now, and it's still like running on the trampoline. So I'm back with the Neo Zen.
Wow.
We did get back together, me and the Neo Zen.
So the leopard did change its spots. That's cool.
So far, so good, anyway.
Love it. That's great. Well, I think I'm just about done in terms of finding out a bit about you. That was a real interesting window into your training and your gear. Abby, have you got anything that has sparked an interest that you want to question Julia on?
I've just been reading about the Spartathlon, Julia. It sounds really interesting, but my favorite part about their website is the whole section dedicated to medical services and the coverage of the regional hospitals throughout the length of the race are ready to accept people with emergencies.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, that's cold.
No, I just and groups of physios are distributed at every station throughout the 36 hours, and yeah, it's yeah. So it sounds like a very, very interesting race that hopefully you do get to do one day.
Yeah, that's the dream.
No, I don't have anything else to add. It's been fantastic to hear about your running and kind of how you got into it and how it's so new to you as well. Very excited to see what comes of it and all the different events that you get to take part in.
Here.
Definitely going to be following your running. And I've got to be honest, totally blew me away that you've only been running for a couple of years. Just to run that amount of volume of training and to be able to switch across a multiple different shoes and make running in a skirt look cool. These are amazing superpowers, Julia, and we wish you only the best in the future. We look forward to seeing you do all your races. We'll follow you. We hope you do the Spartathlon, and we hope we can get you back to Tamworth for possibly the 45 or the 60K race.
And more laps of the Tamworth Trailblazer is very much something I need in my life. It clashes with another event for me this year, so I'm sad to not be returning this year. But honestly, like, my parents actually met in Tamworth, so it would
Oh.
not be that difficult to convince them to come for a family vacation, and we might actually all come and do the Trailblazer.
Oh, yep, we can organize a family discount. That is definitely doable. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to the future, and we look forward to catching up again in person at some stage up here in Tamworth. Thanks again.
Thank you. You have a great night.